Wrestlers who reached 100, the oldest in wrestling history. In the world of wrestling, where hard-hitting moves, spectacular performances, and relentless physical pressure are part of daily life, longevity seems almost impossible. Yet, throughout history, there have been legends who not only survived thousands of matches but also lived lives that stretched nearly a century, or even beyond. These icons bore witness to wrestling's golden eras and became symbols of strength, discipline, and endurance. Welcome to Wrestling Sphere, where we celebrate wrestlers who are truly immortal in every sense of the word. Abe Coleman, the centenarian legend of professional wrestling. In the long history of professional wrestling, very few have reached the milestone of 100 years old. Abe Coleman not only achieved it, he surpassed it, living to the age of 101, making him one of the longest-living wrestlers ever recorded. Born in 1905 in Poland, Coleman was of Jewish descent and immigrated to the United States in the early 20th century, chasing the dream of a better life in a new and unfamiliar world. His wrestling career began in the 1920s, a time when the sport was rapidly growing in popularity across America. Coleman quickly made a name for himself thanks to his energetic style and incredible agility. Some even credit him as the first to ever perform a dropkick in the ring. That signature move earned him the nickname, the Hebrew Hercules, a moniker that stuck with him throughout his career. For 3 decades, Coleman wrestled across the country, helping lay the foundation for modern professional wrestling. Even after retiring in the 1950s, he remained active behind the scenes and stayed closely connected with the wrestling community. What made his story truly remarkable was that, despite a lifetime of punishing physical battles in the ring, Coleman remained healthy well into old age. He passed away in 2007 at the age of 101, leaving behind not only a legacy of thrilling matches but also an inspiring testament to resilience and inner strength. His life proves that sometimes, it's the seemingly ordinary people who leave an extraordinary mark on the sport's history. Angelo Sealdi, the last son of wrestling's golden generation. Though he didn't quite reach 100, Angelo Sealdi deserves a place among the longest-living icons in wrestling history. Born in Italy in 1914, he was one of the final living links to what many call wrestling's golden generation, the foundational era when the sport took shape and spread across America. When he passed away in 2013 at the age of 99, it wasn't just the end of a man's life, it was the closing of a chapter in wrestling history. Sealdi began his wrestling career in the 1930s, a time when the sport was still raw, fiercely competitive, and deeply rooted in athletic legitimacy. With a powerful build, solid technique, and grit forged from a tough immigrant life, he quickly rose through the ranks to become one of the standout wrestlers of his era. His in-ring career spanned over 3 decades, an impressive feat in an industry where longevity is rare. But Angelo's legacy didn't end when he hung up his boots. He transitioned into promoting and became a major influence in the northeastern wrestling scene. In that role, he mentored and developed the next generation of stars, many of whom went on to become legends in their own right. Known for his humility, sense of duty, and unwavering dedication, Sealdi was more than just a historical figure. He was a bridge connecting wrestling's heroic past with its electrifying present. His nearly 100-year journey stands as a testament to lifelong passion, loyalty to the ring, and commitment to the soul of the sport. Bill Mercer, the immortal voice of Texas wrestling. He wasn't a wrestler. He never threw a punch in the ring. Yet Bill Mercer remains one of the most unforgettable names from wrestling's golden age in Texas. Born in 1926, he lived past the century mark and left behind a legacy that resonates deeply with fans, as the iconic voice of world-class championship wrestling, WCCW. Mercer began his media career as a sports journalist, eventually finding his way into wrestling commentary in the 1980s. That's when he became the voice of one of the most beloved wrestling programs of the time. With a commanding tone, rich emotion, and captivating storytelling, Bill Mercer brought life to matches featuring the Von Erich family, Bruiser Brody, the Freebirds, and more, making fans feel like they were right there inside the arena, living every second of the action. But he was more than just a commentator. Mercer was respected for his professionalism, humility, and heartfelt dedication to his craft. For years, he didn't just report on wrestling, he told its story. He built atmosphere, sparked emotion, and helped turn every event into a Texas-sized epic. When he passed away in 2025, just shy of 99, the wrestling world lost a behind-the-scenes legend, someone who had witnessed, narrated, and preserved some of its most iconic moments. He may not have stepped into the ring, but Bill Mercer proved one thing beyond a doubt. In wrestling, some warriors don't need masks or finishing moves to live forever in the hearts of fans. Bob Geigel, the powerhouse leader of NWA's golden era. In professional wrestling, longevity alone doesn't guarantee a lasting legacy. But for Bob Geigel, his 90 years of life weren't just long, they were impactful. He wasn't only known for his impressive lifespan, but also as one of the most influential figures during one of wrestling's most explosive periods of growth. Born in 1924, Geigel first made his mark as a tough, traditional wrestler shaped by the rugged spirit of the American Midwest. But his true legacy wasn't built inside the ring, it was forged behind the scenes, where he became a pivotal leader and architect of wrestling's evolution. During the 1970s and 1980s, Geigel rose to prominence as one of the top promoters in the Kansas City territory and, more importantly, served as president of the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, one of the most powerful organizations in wrestling at the time. Under his leadership, the NWA maintained its influence across various territories throughout the U.S., helping to launch the careers of countless stars who would go on to national fame. Geigel was known for his tough negotiating style, calm leadership, and unwavering commitment to wrestling's traditional values. He didn't chase flash or spectacle. Instead, he focused on building a solid, lasting foundation for the sport. Even after stepping away from the spotlight, Geigel continued to support his local wrestling community behind the scenes until his passing in 2014. Though he didn't reach the century mark, his 90 years were filled with dedication, service, and deep impact on one of the most celebrated eras in American wrestling history. Mae Young, the eternal queen of wrestling. In a world long dominated by men, Mae Young burst onto the scene like a force of nature, powerful, relentless, and unapologetically bold. Born in 1923, she wasn't just one of WWE's first trailblazing female wrestlers, she became a timeless inspiration for generations to come. When she passed away in 2014 at the age of 90, the entire wrestling community paid tribute, not just to what she accomplished in the ring, but to her unbreakable spirit and unwavering passion. Mae Young began her career during an era when women had little to no place in professional wrestling. But she didn't just carve out a spot, she broke down barriers. With a fierce, fearless style and an unmatched toughness, Mae quickly established herself as a competitor who couldn't be overlooked. While many of her peers retired decades earlier, Mae kept performing, well into her 80s. And these weren't just ceremonial appearances. She took actual bumps, participated in physical spots, and even endured slams from male wrestlers, leaving fans and colleagues alike in awe. That tireless dedication made Mae Young a permanent fixture in the hearts of wrestling fans. She wasn't just part of the past, she was a living bridge between eras, witnessing the sport evolve from black and white television to the modern spectacle it is today. Mae Young lived a life entirely devoted to wrestling, and though she didn't live to 100, she remains a symbol of endurance, resilience, and fearless grit, a warrior forever remembered in the heart of WWE. Stan Holk, the steadfast half of the Lisowski brothers. In the history of iconic wrestling tag teams, the Lisowski brothers lit up the ring with their power, charisma, and intense in-ring chemistry. A key part of that explosive duo was Stan Holk, who was often billed as Stan Lisowski when he stepped between the ropes. Born in 1933, Holk lived until 2015, reaching the age of 82, an impressive lifespan in a generation where many of his peers passed away far too young. Stan rose to prominence during the golden age of tag team wrestling, a time when duo matches often headlined major events across numerous promotions. Alongside his famous partner, the team became known not just for brute strength, but also for their uncanny timing and seamless teamwork. Though not related by blood, the bond between Stan and his tag partner was so natural and convincing that fans believed they truly were brothers, a major factor in the team's enduring popularity. What made Stan's story stand out even more was how he chose to live after retiring from wrestling. Rather than chase the spotlight or court controversy, he stepped away quietly and lived a simple, healthy life well into his 80s, a rarity in the wrestling world, where the physical toll often leads to long-term struggles. Stan Holk proved that you don't have to be the biggest star in the spotlight to leave a lasting legacy. He represented the backbone of wrestling, the dependable, resilient professionals who build the foundation on which legends are made. His legacy isn't about flashy solo runs, but the strength of unity and the enduring power of true partnership. The Great Gama, the undefeated icon of eternal strength. When speaking of immortal figures in the history of wrestling, One name towers above all: the Great Gama. Universally revered for his unparalleled record and incredible physical prowess, Gama entered professional wrestling before the 19th century had even ended. And for decades to come, he remained undefeated, never losing a single match. That record alone has left fans and fellow wrestlers in awe for generations. Born in 1878 in India, Gama wasn't just a wrestler. He was a living embodiment of strength, perseverance, and discipline. In an age when training equipment was primitive, he pushed his body to unimaginable limits, lifting massive weights and performing thousands of push-ups daily to hone his craft. His relentless training turned him into a phenomenon, defeating India's top wrestlers and eventually making waves across Europe with dominant international performances. What's even more remarkable is how he lived after retirement. Unlike many fighters who decline physically after leaving the ring, Gama remained strong and healthy, living to the age of 82, a remarkable feat, especially given the brutal conditions of his wrestling prime. That resilience only added to his legend, painting him not just as a champion, but as an ageless icon of human potential. The Great Gama wasn't simply an undefeated athlete. He was the face of an era that placed honor, discipline, and true strength above all else. His legacy is irreplaceable, and his name will forever be etched into the annals of wrestling history as a timeless symbol of greatness. Danny Hajj, a technical machine and true powerhouse. When it comes to legends who possessed both exceptional skill and raw strength, few names represent that combination better than Danny Hajj. Born in 1932, Hajj was a rare dual phenomenon, an amateur wrestling prodigy and a respected force in professional wrestling. When he passed away in 2020 at the age of 88, American wrestling lost one of its most complete icons, a man who embodied precision, power, and perseverance. Danny Hajj was widely regarded as one of the most technically gifted wrestlers to ever step into the ring. In amateur wrestling, he dominated national competitions and proudly represented the United States on the international stage. What truly set him apart wasn't just his list of accolades, but his mastery of technique, his ability to control opponents with near-flawless precision. When he transitioned into professional wrestling, he didn't abandon that technical base. On the contrary, Hajj amazed fans with his unique blend of finesse and natural strength. One of the most unforgettable demonstrations of his raw power was his ability to crush an apple with one hand, something fans still talk about to this day. Throughout his career and long after his retirement, Hajj was celebrated as the gold standard of professionalism. No scandals, no gimmicks, just pure talent and unwavering loyalty to the sport. His 88 years stand as proof that greatness doesn't require flash. It comes from consistency, discipline, and limitless passion. Abe Jacobs, the enduring legend from New Zealand. Among the longest-living wrestlers in recorded history, Abe Jacobs stands out for his quiet resilience and long-lasting career. Born in 1932 in New Zealand, he brought a fierce fighting spirit to the American wrestling scene and made his mark from the 1950s through the 1970s. When he passed away on August 21, 2023, at the age of 95, the global wrestling community mourned the loss of a symbol of dedication and humility. Jacobs was never known as a flashy champion or a spotlight-hogging superstar, but within the industry, he was one of the most respected wrestlers of his era. With a traditional, straightforward style rooted in realism, he earned the trust of opponents, the appreciation of promoters, and the admiration of fans as a true craftsman in the ring. Not only did he maintain a steady in-ring presence for decades, but Jacobs also managed to avoid the controversies and chaos that often follow wrestling careers. He stayed committed to the essence of the sport, quietly delivering consistent, professional performances in an entertainment world often dominated by spectacle. Living to 95 wasn't just a biological feat, it reflected a disciplined lifestyle, a positive mindset, and a patient character that defined his entire life. Abe Jacobs is the kind of legend who didn't need noise or headlines to be remembered. His legacy lives on in the hearts of those who truly understand the value of integrity, respect, and lifelong devotion to the sport of wrestling. Elliot, the longest-living power player behind the scenes. When we think of wrestlers who lived past 100, most people picture the warriors who fought inside the ring. But one man made his mark not with powerful moves, but with sharp strategy and a behind-the-scenes influence that was simply irreplaceable. That man was Elliot, who lived to be 101 and remains one of the oldest promoters in wrestling history. Born in 1904, Elliot didn't step into the ring himself. Instead, he worked behind the curtain, organizing and promoting wrestling shows for fans in the Pacific Northwest, an area known for its vibrant wrestling scene throughout the 20th century. With a keen sense for entertainment, a deep understanding of audience tastes, and strong connections in the industry, Elliot quickly became a major figure in his region, someone whose voice carried weight in every major decision. But Harry was more than just a promoter. He was a mentor and a gateway for young talent to break into the business. His dedication, persistence, and forward-thinking approach allowed him to stay relevant for decades. No small feat in a constantly evolving entertainment world like professional wrestling. When he passed away in 2006, Elliot had lived a full 101 years, witnessing the transformation of wrestling from its rough territorial roots to its global, commercialized form. His legacy isn't measured in titles or records, but in the generations of wrestlers who flourished under his quiet guidance and leadership. They didn't just live long, they lived with passion until the very end. These legendary wrestlers proved that age is just a number when you've got heart, grit, and a love for the sport that never fades. Their stories remind us that wrestling isn't just about strength, it's about legacy. Don't forget to like, share, and follow Wrestling Sphere so you never miss powerful, emotional, and history-rich stories like this one. Stay tuned, because the legends never truly leave us.